Welcome back to All Things ETH. My name is Aaron, and on this channel we talk about all things Ethereum. We talk about projects, NFTs, play to earn, DeFi, and price. And today, guys, I want to get into Ramses exchange on Arbitrum. There's been a lot of changes there since I've made my last video. I've also want to talk about some great yields, especially in a stable pool right now. So let's get on into it. We're talking about 100+% yields right now on stables. So let's talk yield farming. On Ramses exchange, here is their liquidity page, app.ramses.exchange /liquidity to get here. If you hit this little APR, average APR range button, it will cycle it into a place where you get to see what the top APRs are. And the pool that I'm talking about today is down here a little bit further. It is on the second page, I believe. And you can change this page actually. If I like to go to 25 per page just to give us a good range here. If you know me, I like to stick with APRs in the 60 to 150 range if I'm playing things a little more degen. Anything above that gets a little bit too crazy, especially in concentrated liquidity. You can get some massive and permanent loss. So be careful out there, guys. But this pool here, this concentrated liquidity, Gala to USDC. Now, there's some people out there that say Gala is a dying protocol. I beg to differ. There's some great liquidity on a couple places in Arbitrum in particular. You can trade for Gala in Chronos right now, and you can also do it on Kyber Swap. Kyber being one of the probably the most under the radar exchanges, and then again you can also use the Llama swap here, especially on stables. So Llama swap is a great place. It'll give you the best price with the least amount of slippage on something like this. So let's go to the pair that we're talking about. It is USDC native, not the bridged or USDCE. So USDC and Gala here. And just be careful making sure that you're using the right contract. Go to CoinGecko, copy things, right? Make sure you're not getting into something that's not what you're asking for in these pools, because there are scam coins out there. But I've already done my research on this. I've already actually got into this pool myself, so I'll show you that shortly. But get yourself roughly 50-50 on this. Now, most concentrated liquidity pools are not 50-50 pools, and I'll show you that in a second, how you can adjust that. But let's get into back into Ramses. So once you've found your pool and you have some of these assets in your wallet, now I tend to actually swap for the assets needed after you're looking at the manage page, just in case there is a significant amount of liquidity needed on one side over the other. But with these stable pools, you don't typically need to do more than 50-50. Now they'll change within the range after you've set them. In fact, mine currently is at 74% Gala and 26% of USDC, but you can increase the range here. That when you open up this for the first time, you'll just have one button here that says open new pair. In fact, I'll show you what that looks like. When you want to add liquidity to Ramses, it looks like this. In fact, this is verbatim what UniV3 looks like. So it shouldn't be unfamiliar to you if you've used Uniswap v3. So you select your tokens, and we're going to use again USDC, not EUSDC, or we're using the non-bridged version, the USD coin. And then we're going to pair that against Gala here. And if you need to do some research on Gala, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty on that, but it is another protocol's stablecoin. A little less used than obviously USDC, but it's still got plenty of liquidity on Arbitrum. And so people are trying to swap for it, and hence why we have some great APRs now on Ramses exchange. And I'm going to show you how to boost that, so don't leave yet. So To add liquidity here, you can decide what amount you want to put in. So let's just say I want to put in $1,000 total, right? So I want to put $500 worth of USDC, and then what is coming up to now for the necessary amount of dollar that it would require for you to set up this position is 505. And if you want to change that, you can actually do that by pushing these buttons here, and they're set at prices, so you can't really adjust this manually too much. You want to hit this negative and positive buttons to get you into the places that it wants to see as far as liquidity goes. But you can change them to raise and lower. Like if you have a lot of dollar and not a lot of USDC, or if you think the range is going to change. I like to zoom out on these to see historic price ranges. Sometimes you can actually see that in these pools, and the this little notch here means that the price has gone down to that point. So you may want to move your slider here over to that point, but that means you'd have to put in $2,500 to 500 USDC, and the current price is this white line here. It means it's right at the edge of basically $100 and 0.1 or 1.3 cents. It's really marginal here. Because these are stables, you're not going to have to worry about this too much. If you're getting into a concentrated liquidity pool that wasn't stables, like stable to stable, you would have to be more concerned with where your range is. But in this case, I do like to stick with about 500 of each. And so the range will look like, plus 0.1% on one side, and I think it's negative 1.1% as well, to keep it roughly 50-50 on this. So you're going to put in $1,005 for this specific range, and the current APR, so we're looking at 75% to 188% boosted, and I'll show you how to boost this in a second. But this is if you don't have any Ramses locked, you're going to have this, which I'm assuming most of you aren't going to. There may be some of you that do, but you don't get this this boost unless you have voting RAM. So that VE-RAM tokens, your locked RAM tokens, and you are getting paid in RAM in this, so it's not going to be paid in dollar or USDC. You're getting that 75% in Ramses tokens or RAM tokens. But it's still a great return. So you could certainly farm it and dump it for that, close to 75%. Could go up or down depending on the price of RAM on the day. So do check that out. This is not a passive income source, although having it be two stable coins does make it a little bit more passive, so that you're not having to manage the range all that much. So let's show you how to add that liquidity now. So now that we have it inside of, once you pull the trigger on this, I don't have the sufficient funds because I've already made this specific range in my liquidity pool. You'll hit approve probably both coins, and then add liquidity here, and then immediately you'll start getting that 75% in Ramses. Now to boost this, I actually recommend you go over to Ennead. Ennead is similar to Beefy Finance in that it takes all of the RAM tokens and converts it into a very large VE-RAM NFT for Ennead. Now you can add any amount of Ennead and start getting the boost here. And so I do have some Ennead tokens, and the great thing is they're liquid. They don't have to be locked, and this is why I recommend it. If you go out and buy yourself a handful of Ennead tokens and you stake those inside of the stake tab here, you can hit the boost on this this specific farm, and the farm will automatically show up here. You don't have to add your tokens to Ennead. It'll automatically show up because you have those tokens inside of Ramses. So build your liquidity inside of Ramses like I showed you in the concentrated liquidity UI there. and then come over to Ennead, purchase a handful of Ennead tokens, and then you'll be able to get boosted up to 176% APR right now. And all you have to do is click this boost button in order to make that happen. Now let me run through this. So this is the name of the pool. This is the liquidity position that you've created. Do make sure when you're making that liquidity position that you don't change the range. Make sure that you don't change the fee range here, the fee tier. Otherwise, you won't get that boost because it's made for that specific liquidity range. Now you can change the ranges here. Ennead's boost does not care, neither does Ramses' APRs. They don't care where you are inside of the pool. You could be at full range essentially and still be privy to the rewards, which is great. But the boost does require you to have the exact fee range in particular, and then you will start getting the emissions from Ennead, and emissions in Ennead are actually paid out in RAM tokens. You do also get the fees, the liquidity fees, which is great too. So you get a little bit of Gala, a little bit of USDC as a part of adding liquidity there. And so the 5%, part of that 5% fee, or 0.05% I should say, fee does get accrued here, and then you get your emissions as well. Now hit boost, and that will go in, for me in particular, because I have a decent size Ennead stake, I will get the full 176% boosted as well. So and I'm not sure how small of one you can have and still get the 176%. It could be one, honestly. I haven't looked into it, so do your own research on that. But I know that you can get 176% paid out on a stable pool right now using this system. So I wanted to share it with you guys to let you know that it's available. So with that, please put any questions you have in the comments. I would love to answer any there that you might have. Also join the Ramses and Ennead Discord if you have questions. Follow me on Twitter at ALL THINGS ETH. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more content just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.